welcome to Zero Tolerance 2023. Please welcome to the stage, host of Late Night, Seth Meyers.
Good evening, everybody. How we doing tonight? It's so lovely to be here with all of you. I want to start by apologizing. It took us a little bit of time to check in today. Thank you so much for your patience. We did borrow the computers on loan from Spirit Airlines. In retrospect, that was a mistake. There's a writer's strike going on right now, and that's the first Spirit Airlines joke I've told in 6 months. It felt good, you guys. Thank you for providing me a platform. But, you know, I noticed the line was stretched outdoors, and if there was ever a night to get stuck outdoors waiting to check in. If you're wondering, Benjamin Moore calls this color dystopian haze. Still, wasn't it nice today to know where your masks were? COVID takes a lot of, correct criticism, but it's been very nice that we all know where our masks are now. I don't miss masks. Seeing so many masks today reminded me I don't miss masks. I did have a favorite mask in COVID that I would like to admit. My favorite mask was early in COVID, where we all had to make our own masks, and it was the train robber bandana that people wore. It was a bad mask, you know. It's like someone saw it around the neck of a golden retriever and thought, I bet that'll stop a airborne virus. It didn't work at all. Like if you sneezed, it would just pop up. It was like if you farted in a kilt, it was like, poof. And nobody liked it. If you were pro-mask, you would say that isn't, providing any coverage. And if you would anti-mask, you would say, why are you succumbing to tyranny? And I was actually, recently I was on an Amtrak and someone came in wearing one of those and they robbed the train. It turned out it had nothing to do with COVID at all. And we all were like, oh, we thought that was your COVID mask. And they lifted it up and they had an N95. So shame on us. Hey, one of my big takeaways from COVID during the mask era was this. A person's eyes are no indication as to what the rest of their face is going to look like. You know those people you met during COVID, like school teachers or your barista at the coffee shop? And it turns out the bottom half of the face never makes the top half look better. Every time the first time you saw a full face of one of your COVID friends, you're like, oh no. If the eyes are the window to the soul, the nose is the pothole of the face. Hey, one of the upsides of the weather, I heard a lot of the rats are moving out. What a time to be a rat in New York City, by the way. The rats can't believe we're still doing outdoor dining. They're like, what? We thought this was for COVID only. This is amazing. Thank you. Rats talk about COVID the way people with second homes did, where they're like, it was actually, the pandemic was very nice for us. It was don't tell anybody, but we had a very nice. It is really, I feel like New York City, I love living here. I want to live here forever. I feel like we live amongst the smartest, most innovative people in the world. Give it up for New York City. Give it up for everybody being out tonight for a cause. Man, that's the thing about New York City. And look, let's be honest, it's not a great day, and you're all out for a cause, and there's 1,000 people here, and that's really amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause. With that said, it's very funny to me. This is such an innovative city, and then every now and then there's a headline that really makes me laugh. Because of last month, I read a headline that New York City is considering, because of the rat problem, they're considering making restaurants put their garbage in bins with lids. And I feel like the rest of the world must have been like, what have you been doing? And we're like, well, let's just kind of stack it up in piles. We hired a rat czar. And I'm all for hiring a rat czar. I just wouldn't have done a press conference. I feel like that's a job you hire on the down low. You hire the rat czar and be like, no one ever knows you exist. Also, czar, I feel like czar is a bad name. I mean, I'm not like a professor of Russian history, but I feel like it didn't end well. Again, there's a strike, so I'm only going to go on for like 2-3 hours. You guys, one of the reasons I'm here tonight, and let me just say, I'm happy to be back once again at Sanctuaries. zero tolerance benefit. A round of applause real quick for the reason we're all here. My incredibly talented wife has worked for this organization for the last 6 years. Can we have a round of applause? Not just for my wife, who is a brilliant lawyer, but a round of applause for all the brilliant lawyers in the room. Also, make some noise if you're married to a lawyer. I feel like I might start a charity called Sanctuary for the Spouses of Lawyers. I mean, real talk, it's a drag to be married to a lawyer just for how they fight. It's so unfair when you're arguing with a lawyer. They're so good at it. The other day I was arguing with my wife and she said, "Objection, argumentative." I will say it might be hard being married to a lawyer. It's also hard to be married to a comedian because you just live your life with a comedian. They get up on stage and get to say whatever they want about your marriage. So it is hard to be married to a comedian. With that said, it's also very hard to be a comedian who is married. Because when you're married, anytime you have a fight, I think the most important thing, and this is advice for anybody here who's not married yet, when you're having a fight with your spouse, you should always say the thing that de-escalates the situation. But when you're a comedian, all you ever think of are, this is a funny thing I could say that will make it worse. Like the other day, my kids love superheroes, okay? They love superheroes, and every night I tell them about superheroes, and they ask me questions, and they'll say, who's stronger, Hulk or Thor? And the other day, one of my kids said, who's faster, Superman or the Flash? And I was so happy they asked. That's an age-old question about superheroes, who's faster, Superman or the Flash? And here's the thing I should also make clear. Our kids don't watch a lot of screens. And I don't say that to me like we're better parents than you. I just say that to be like, our kids will turn out better than yours. So they don't watch a lot of screens, but I thought, oh, Superman racing the Flash, I bet there's a cartoon of that. And so sure enough, I look on YouTube, and there's a Justice League cartoon where Superman races the Flash. And I decide, to make an exception. And I put the kids, one on each knee, our two boys, and we're watching on my phone this video of Superman racing the Flash. And then my wife walks in from the other room, and she says, what are you doing? And I said, we're watching Superman race the Flash. And she said, a cartoon? And I couldn't help myself, and I said, no, the real guys. Yeah, it's like a documentary, and they weren't even trying to film. They were doing a desert documentary about cacti, and then these two. She didn't hear that part. She left. My son said a really sweet thing the other day, because my kids know, they're starting to know at least, that I'm a comedian and I do this for a living. And my oldest said, because they have one parent who's a benevolent lawyer, and they have another one who's a talk show host. And my 7-year-old said to me, when you die, do I get your show? And I thought that was nice. I will say it breaks my heart. My son did recently say something that's funnier than any joke I wrote this year. My son, when he has to pee, my son comes up to you and says, I have to pee. And when he has to poop, he comes up and he whispers in your ear, I have a secret that's brown. And it's so, because what else could it be? He's like, I have a secret that's brown. I'm like, let me guess, you got to poop? He's like, no, mom's having an affair with the UPS guy. Are we ready to have a good time tonight, everybody? As I've established, I'm completely biased, but Sanctuary for Families is such an amazing organization. True to its name, it is a family. It is a family for over 7,000 survivors of gender violence who seek their help every year. And Sanctuary is part of an amazing community. The staff, the volunteers, the survivor leaders, the board, the supporters, all of you in this room. That community makes possible the incredible services Sanctuary offers: legal representation, counseling, shelter, workforce training, everything a person might need to leave an abusive relationship and find safety and stability and a life free from violence. Let's give a round of applause to that. That is no small thing. That is substantial. By being here this evening, you are showing the world that you are committed to supporting survivors. We need to listen to them when they tell their stories and support organizations like Sanctuary so we can all live in a world free from gender violence. Thank you, everyone here tonight, for being part of our family. I said I was glad to be back. I'm very, very happy to be back, and I'm also very happy to be introducing once again Sanctuary for Families Executive Director, the Honorable Judy Harris Kluger.
Thank you, Seth, for joining us again this year and giving us the gift of laughter. And thank you all for being here, all 1,000 of you. Wow. And despite the fires from the north, really terrific. I am so thrilled to welcome you here tonight. And I hope you'll bear with me as I get serious for a bit, because gender violence is once again in the news. Here are just a few examples. A recent study found that homicide is the leading cause of death for women who are pregnant or postpartum. That is just absolutely shocking. Our country continues to be roiled by mass shootings, and perpetrators nearly always have a history of growing up in a violent home or committing acts of domestic violence. In February, Sanctuary staff were quoted in a New York Times article highlighting how smart home systems, which control your heat, light, and door locks, can be taken over by an abuser, turning a home into a living nightmare. And in pop culture, Megan Thee Stallion and Amber Heard brought charges against their abusive partners, and both were vilified for having the audacity to speak out. These headlines are why Sanctuary exists, and we want these headlines to change, and that is why we are here tonight. Seth highlighted some of the services that Sanctuary offers, and we take enormous pride in every single person we touch. But we also know that helping individuals is not enough. What are the systems that allow violence to continue? What policies prevent survivors from getting the help they need? And what new laws are needed to keep people safe? Sanctuary's model is powerful, not just because of what we do for individuals, but on the systems that impact their lives. We argue cases all the way to the United States Supreme Court, like we did in Golan v. Sada, which changed the standard for determining custody in international abduction cases. We are strongly advocating for a change in the laws in New York that govern child custody and visitation. Right now, and this is hard to fathom, too many judges give visitation rights to highly abusive parents, putting children in horrifically dangerous and even deadly situations. And remember those smart home systems I spoke about? This is just one form of technology that can be weaponized in the hands of an abuser. We are actively seeking to change laws to protect victims from cyber abuse. Just an hour ago, I received news that a bill we supported, protecting victims from AI-generated cyber abuse, passed today in Albany. Real-time proof of the impact of our work. These are just a few examples of Sanctuary's long advocacy agenda, changing laws and policies that make our systems more responsive and our communities safer. Direct services coupled with advocacy, that is the power of Sanctuary. We do both because, in the words of Desmond Tutu, there comes a point where we need to just stop pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and figure out why they are falling in. We could not do this work without our community, the expertise and passion of our staff, the generosity of all of you, and the work of our amazing board led by the wonderful Dennis McInerney. I especially want to thank tonight's underwriting sponsors, Jennifer Croman and David Wormuth, Jim and Robin Carey, they get applause too. Chuck and Marna Davis, Lynn and Nick Zerbib, and the Schwartz and Ferdman families, with a special shout out to Stephanie Ferdman for her decades-long commitment to our work. And as always, thanks to Lisa Mueller, Susan Puter, Jeannie Kimbrell, and Sanctuary's terrific development team for producing tonight's event. And thanks also to the wonderful volunteers, many hundreds working here this evening. Finally, my utmost respect and deepest gratitude to Sanctuary's talented and devoted staff who inspire me every day. Without their relentless commitment, this challenging work just could not be done. I'd like to close by sharing a short video that highlights Sanctuary from a survivor's perspective. Then we'll hear from our survivor leader, Ashley Marte, who was a survivor client and is now an advocate for change. Thank you so much for being here, for your generosity, and here's the video.
4 months ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I had just left my abusive husband, and my kids and I had nowhere safe to go. That's when I called New York City's domestic violence hotline, who told me about Sanctuary for Families and their shelter services.
2 years ago, I fled violence and discrimination in my home country. After arriving in the United States, I met a guy who became my boyfriend. It was a dark time. He exploited me by selling me for sex and threatened to deport me if I didn't do what he said. Back then, I didn't even know that what he was doing to me was a crime. But with help from Sanctuary for Families, I finally understood that I had rights.
Siempre tuve grandes sueños, pero mi pareja no me dejaba estudiar o trabajar. Él quería asegurarse que yo dependiera de él para tener dinero. Cuando mi consejera en Santuario para Familias me refirió al programa de empoderamiento económico, me di cuenta de que aún estaba a tiempo de retomar el control de mi futuro.
After staying at one of Sanctuary's crisis shelters for a few weeks, we moved into their shelter at Sarah Burke House. We don't even have to leave the building to access counseling, support groups, and family activities. It's a place where we can begin to heal as a family.
I didn't know where to start, but my Sanctuary attorney helped me identify multiple legal options for my situation. She helped me find all the paperwork and made me feel safe asking for help without fear of judgment.
El programa EEP me dio la seguridad y las habilidades que necesitaba para entrar a la fuerza laboral, incluyendo clases de inglés, tecnología y entrenamiento profesional. Incluso pude seleccionar artículos de ropa formal para mi primer trabajo de oficina después de graduarme.
Today, I'm meeting my Sanctuary attorney at court for a custody proceeding. If you had told me 4 months ago that I would have a safe home and the courage to face my husband in court, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, resolved to build a brighter future for my family.
A few days ago, my attorney gave me a call and told me that my asylum application was approved. I still have a long road ahead of me, but I know Sanctuary will stand by me every step of the way.
Hace algunas semanas comencé a trabajar y a pesar de los desafíos, cada día me siento más segura de mí misma. Además de tener independencia y estabilidad económica, ahora siento que estoy construyendo un futuro más feliz.
Please welcome to the stage survivor leader Ashley.
It's a packed room tonight, huh? Seth, you got the jokes, though. You got the jokes. It's beautiful. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Marte, Today I'll be talking to, I sound nervous, hold on. Okay. I needed a second. All right. Y'all look beautiful. Just saying. Thank you. Okay. So today I'm gonna give you a glimpse of what Sanctuaries for Family has done for me. When I first walked into Sarah Burke House, as you can see, it's very beautiful and it's clean just like that too. You know what I'm saying? So before I moved to Sarah Burke House, I had moved 12 times within the shelter system. I'd be walking through the gates and then the doors. I felt a sense of relief, yet I felt so uneasy. I refused every type of help they tried to give me. I was really depressed, and I didn't want to come out my little unit they had for me. Like, I shut the whole crowd out. So I had just given birth to my second son. So yeah, postpartum kind of hit me, and it was really bad, like super bad. But I can tell you one thing, the staff members never gave up on me, from the residential aide, my case manager, my aftercare counselor, even the supervisor will check up on me just to try to get me out of my unit. At that time, I was still refusing to get out of my apartment. So then my caseworker introduced me to Anna. Anna is the aftercare counselor, and she played a huge role at the time I was in Sarah Burke House. She helped me learning more about myself inwards. She taught me many different things along the way. I started to feel more comfortable around the shelter, that you'll see me walking around the hallways with a Kool-Aid smile, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'm opening up a little bit more. I see. Well, more I feel. And, you know, with the two boys, I had just given birth. It wasn't as easy as said. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very difficult. It was hard. But Sanctuary definitely never gave up on me. You know, it took a shift on my outlook in life. You'll hear Anna sometimes in the intercom call me like, Ashley, I don't have enough people for a group. Remember those days, Anna? Yeah? I'll be like, okay, I'll be right there. Grab my two boys and run down the stairs and, interact. And I started opening up. I'm telling you, the Kool-Aid smile, it played a big part. Insane. I could tell you, I walked in that place so broken that I left even stronger. Like, I'm telling you, Anna played a huge role, like, seriously. Till this day, I'm gonna quote that. But, today, I stand and speak in front of all you folks to tell you how amazing this organization is. And I'm grateful for every opportunity that has been given to me. I'm currently a student working towards my bachelor's. I'm planning to go for my master's, so remember my name. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children. And on my spare time, I do help over 60K families in homeless shelters today. So I help them with advice, seek domestic violence, gender-based violence. I'm a survivor leader for Sanctuaries for Families. And that has opened many more opportunities for me to be able to help these individuals that I run a Facebook group. So you could say, I'm a little busy. I'm very busy. So a survivor leader is basically a person that has exited from human trafficking and gender-based violence, and experience healing and is using their experience for leadership and change. My journey has not only influenced me to help the next person, but it helped me thrive as well. Today, Sanctuary is still by my side. They have not let go of my hand, or maybe I won't let go of theirs. I don't know. Who knows though? But just saying. I can honestly say I never expected myself to stand here and speak on this crowd. You know what I'm saying? Just a little. They have helped me by putting a roof over my heads and my boys, aiding me and my family when needed, and not giving up no matter all the times I rejected the assistance. Who can say no to helpers who are trying to help in such a positive way? That is just so mean, right? Like, it's just so mean. It's so mean. The day I gave in, I was caught by a web, creating a future for myself and my children. With Anna, okay, supporting me in every way possible. Anna. Just saying, Anna. I love her, I'm sorry. I hope you guys can all continue to motivate the next client and let them know this is not the end. It's just the beginning of their new book. So, guys, thank you all for listening and taking the time. Sanctuary, thank you so much for me and my family. I appreciate it.
Please welcome to the stage auctioneer Lydia Finette.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lydia Finette. I am so delighted to be here. I'm your auctioneer this evening, and I can tell just by the lack of applause and looking at your faces that you do not feel the same way about having me on stage right now. That's right, Seth Meyers. But listen up, guys. Here's the great news. I will talk you to death. So don't think you're going to talk over me. I got a hot mic, and I'm coming in hot. And guess what? The world's about to end, and you can't take it with you. So you might as well give it to Sanctuary, okay? All right. This is stop clapping. We're just going to breeze through this. I don't need your applause. We're going to rock this. Save it for each other. We have one lot. We have 7 paddle raise levels, and I'm going to start by telling you about the amazing first lot. Now, the first lot is a singer-songwriter. He's little known. He's a man by the name of Bruce Springsteen. Do you guys know anything about Bruce Springsteen? No, you don't. Okay, so I'll tell you about him. He is just learning how to play the guitar. I believe he lives in New Jersey. He's supposed to be pretty good. And in this lot, you're going to get 2 tickets, row 100, like spitting distance to Bruce Springsteen, sweating on you, that close. This is your opportunity. You can start the bidding wherever you want, but no, I will completely chastise you if you start too low. So where are we going to start my bidding? Give me a great number, 1 million compliments coming your way. If you give me a great number, anywhere in the room, start me off. It's a little intimidating when I say that, right? Yes. 2,000? $2,000 to start, am I right? At $2,000. At $2,000 here, I'll take a bid of $3,000 next. Do you guys know how an auction works? Right, we're gonna need more than one bidder. All right, thank you, Karen. $3,000 on my right. I'll take a bid of $4,000. $4,000 is bid on my left. I'm sorry, sir? $55,000, is that what you said? Well, you raised your hand twice with the number 5, so what was the girl going to do? We're at $5,000 on my left. I'll take a bid of $6,000 next. We are at $5,000 on my left. $6,000 is bid on my right. At $6,000, it's true. Only cool people bidding on Bruce Springsteen. Like, on everybody else, like, no way. You know, you got to know music to know Bruce. We're at $6,000 here. I'll take a bid of $7,000 next. At $7,000 in a new place. At $7,000. Can you guys shush each other for me, please? I am not going to shush a crowd. I don't do that after 20 years. I leave that to all of you. And we're at $7,000, and we need to get to at least 10 because this is for Sanctuary. So we're at $7,000, and I bet if someone just shouted out 10, we probably could wrap it up. Anyone? I'll just hold here. $10,000 in the center of the room. All right. I can't be the first woman who's ever told you look like Harry Styles, sir. We're at $10,000 in the center of the room. At $10,000, I'll take a bid of $12,000 next. I said I'd shut it down, but I'm an auctioneer. We don't always tell the truth. At $10,000 here, $12,000 would be next. This is August 30th, MetLife Stadium, 2 tickets, Bruce Springsteen. We are at $10,000 in the center of the room. Any advance, this is my only lot. It's all I have to sell. Who's bidding? $12,000 is bid, ladies and gentlemen. At $12,000, paddle 910, and at $12,000. But here's an interesting fact, Harry Styles. I can sell $15,000 is bid at 15. But table 27. Table 27. We have a bid of 15 here. If I could sell it twice and the second one at 15, would you take it, sir? It's kind of a bit of a quandary because now you have 1,000 people looking at you, right? So I don't know. It doesn't always feel great. All right. We are at $15,000 in the center of the room. Any advance over $15,000? Going once? Twice, sir. Sold to you at $15,000 in the center of the room, sir. May I see your paddle, please? Paddle 712. All right. He doesn't want it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a paddle raise with 7 levels. This is the easiest part of the night. All you have to do is raise your paddle. The paddle should also correspond to the amount of money you have in your bank account. If you have a friend who has made a lot of money this year but isn't the most generous, I fully support taking their paddle and raising it up. It puts them in a very awkward situation at checkout, so I'll be gone by that point, but have a great time. All right, we're going to start at the highest level. If you are not bidding, instead of talking, one of 2 things. Drink the wine so that you bid more, or cheer for the people who are giving, because all of the money is going to an incredible cause, right? Okay. That was kind of a mediocre amount of applause. Do you think you could do better? Let's try. All right. Yep. Okay. All right. Is it just me or am I killing this auction? All right. The top level, $50,000 support sanctuaries. Oh my God, your paddle went up before I even finished. $755 at $50,000 in the front row. No one told me Naomi Campbell was going to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. $50,000 in the front row. Is there anyone else at $50,000 anywhere in the room? $50,000. It's like you wanted to give 500, but then you added 2 zeros. It's not that complicated. Quick math, 50,000. All right, I'll take it to $25,000, which helps fund Sanctuary's legal center services, ensuring survivors have the support they need to persist through challenging family court cases. $989 on my right at $25,000. Thank you so much, ma'am. A quick $75,000. I will hold at the $25,000 level just long enough to make everyone squirm. Silence is awkward in an auction, as it turns out. Anyone else? $75,000. We go to 15. Contribute to Sanctuary's clinical program that provides trauma-informed individual and group counseling for 1,000 survivors. $706 on my right at $15,000. Thank you so much on our right at $15,000. Anyone else in the room? Anyone else? All right, $90,000. Let's keep going. $10,000. I'm just going to keep going. Anyone in the room at $10,000? We are at $90,000. $233, $541. We are at $110,000, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone else at the $10,000 level? Let's keep going. $741 on my right takes us to $120,000. It's funny. There are like 990 people who don't have their paddles up, and we only have one table applauding. That's interesting, right? You guys can do better. Come on, let's have fun with this. I'm only on stage for like 2 more minutes. $120,000 on my right. $5,000 reunites a parent and a child separated by abuse. Anyone at the $5,000 level? 206, 612, 861, 984, 632, 721, 638, 222, 231, 169. That is $50,000, ladies and gentlemen. 817, 166, 631, 112, 747, 500, 933, 769. We are at $90,000. What if we got 2 more and took it to $100,000 at this level? Wouldn't that be fun? 408 in the center of the room, 258 on my right. That is $100,000 at the $5,000 level. Now you give yourselves a round of applause. All right. So I believe if we add that all up, that puts us to what, 220? Is that right? Is my math right? You guys don't know, but I do. $220,000. Let's keep going. And by the way, add that to the $15,000, and now we are at $235,000, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what we're doing tonight, raising money. All right. Hold that number, 235, $2,500 anywhere in the room at $2,500. 844 cannot be the only one. 715, 127, 128 is $10,000. 407, 779, 235, 121 is $20,000, ladies and gentlemen. We are at $155,000, 228 on my right. Anyone else? 121, we are at 260,000, 424, 924, $265,000 in this room tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 220 in the back of the room, 743, 831. I need one more to take us to 275,000, ladies and gentlemen. 204 on my right. There we go. Is there anyone else in this room? So I just want to tell you guys this. The reason I am adding this in my head for you right now is because I was given a goal when I got on this stage tonight, and I know what it is, and you don't. You are very close to hitting it. Let me just tell you where you are. Our goal is $300,000. They didn't know if we were going to get here, and guess what? I know we are, because now we're at the $1,000 level, and I only need 25 people to raise their hands. So I'm going to start on the right, and we're going to count it down. We're going to make it happen, and it's going to be so fun, and we're going to go crazy. 913, 951, 218, 907, 903, 20 to go. 249, 604, 342, 210, 106, 20 to go. 719, 442, 829, 629, 919, excuse me, $15,000 to go, and I can see we've got it. 126, 654, 412, 584, 932. Guys, 10 to go. 633. Don't wave at your friend right now, my God. 633, 580, 581, 991, 778, 288, $5,000 to go. 945, 579, 980, 943, 866 takes us to 300,000, but keep your battles up because there are a few more. 551, 855, 520, 311, 547, 718, 332, 434, 856, 576, 999, 551, 720 takes us to $311,000. Oh, wait. And 444 takes us to $312,000. 331. I see you also over there, ladies and gentlemen. If there is anything else you would like to give this evening, for instance, you wanted to give $5 million, and I didn't say that number, you can text this to Zero Tolerance 76278. Zero Tolerance 76278. Thank you all so much, and please welcome Sanctuary Board Member and Development Committee Co-Chair, the amazing Jamila Abston Mayfield on our right.
Wow. Thank you, Lydia. Can we give her a round of applause? And thanks to everyone who raised their paddle. We are so appreciative. 313, is that what we landed at, Lydia, I believe? $313,000. Thank you so much. My name is Jamila Abston Mayfield, and I am a board member of Sanctuary, and I am the co-chair of the Development Committee this year, and I am thrilled to be introducing tonight's honorees. So I'm going to start with my fellow board member, Jennifer Croman. Jennifer, or Jenny, as her law school friends call her, has been an inspiration to me ever since I joined the board, which she served for 9 years with integrity and passion. 9 years. Everyone that knows Jennifer can attest to her warmth, her compassion, her energy. And those of us on the board who know her know she's going to ask us hard questions. She's going to challenge us, and she's going to bring her client-focused lens to guide us to our new strategic plan, which will be a roadmap for our work for years to come. Jennifer has been a tireless advocate for underrepresented individuals for her entire career, and she's been involved with Sanctuary for more than 25 years. 9 years on the board, 25 years total. I mean, she started when she was 4, do the math. She spent more than a decade at the law firm Cleary Guadalupe, where she headed up, Cleary's in the room, where she headed up their pro bono practice and mentored and trained hundreds of attorneys across the country to represent domestic violence survivors. She has brought her superb litigation skills to scores of Sanctuary clients in highly challenging cases. Most recently, Jennifer co-founded the Further Justice Foundation, which helps community-based organizations launch and expand civil legal services programs. Jennifer is a role model and an inspiration to so many, including the scores of friends and family here to support her tonight. It is with great pleasure that I present Jennifer Croman with the 2023 Zero Tolerance Award.
Okay. So, reading glasses now. I'm so honored to be one of this year's Zero Tolerance honorees. I want to start by congratulating Alida and Yana. It is a privilege to be recognized alongside you both this evening. Sanctuary has been part of my life for more than 2 decades. I no longer remember any of the details of the first pro bono case I took when I was a young associate at Cleary, but I definitely remember being left with the feeling that Sanctuary was something special. Becoming the pro bono director at Cleary in 2011 was what allowed me to really appreciate up close the magic that is Sanctuary. When my client F, who had been trafficked to the US as a child, finally connected with critically needed mental health counseling from a social worker at Sanctuary, that is the magic of Sanctuary. When my client S, referred to me by another organization, was sued by her trafficker for custody of their children, Sanctuary's legal staff defended S in family court so that she could keep her kids. That is the magic of Sanctuary. And when my client D, who had been brutalized in her home country of Honduras, needed surgery, Sanctuary staff found doctors and a hospital to operate for free. That is the magic of Sanctuary. But the magic of Sanctuary reaches beyond its own clients and its own work. Sanctuary has positively impacted scores of attorneys and other professionals in New York City and beyond. By watching Sanctuary's counselors, case managers, social workers, and shelter staff, I learned a better way to work with clients, to be compassionate and honest, patient and humble, to listen more than I talk, and to always, always put the needs of my clients first. From Sanctuary's incredible legal staff, I learned to fearlessly and zealously represent my clients, to take novel positions, to build relationships that benefit my clients, and to look for systemic changes and solutions. Year after year, the magic of Sanctuary has been shared by my personal ecosystem of family and friends. I would like to thank them for so generously supporting this organization in a myriad of ways for all of these years. I would especially like to thank my wonderful husband, David. Woo! Who is tireless in his enthusiasm for Sanctuary and really tireless in his support of me. And to our daughters, Hannah and Sarah, you and your friends, many of whom are here tonight, you are unafraid to use your voices to remedy injustice. You give me hope that we might eradicate the plague that is gender violence once and for all. And finally, thank you to each and every staff member, volunteer, board member, and most especially client, past and present. I will forever be grateful to each of you for allowing me to share in the magic that is Sanctuary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for just your beautiful and insightful remarks and all that you do. You can see why we all love Jennifer. Our next honoree is Yana Lukman. Another beloved member of the Sanctuary family. Yana has been a supporter of Sanctuary for over 15 years and was an early founder of the Mothers Council, which we now call the Family Council. For those who don't know what the Family Council is, it is a group of parents who want to bring their children into community service, and they volunteer with their children to do activities in support of Sanctuary's clients and our mission. Under Yana's leadership, this group grew and flourished. As a young mom of a child myself and a new mom, I was very impressed to learn that Yana does this and the many ways she does this with her children. She's so creative. With her 3 children, Yana spent countless hours packaging gifts for Sanctuary clients for Mother's Day, preparing meals for Thanksgiving, and wrapping presents for the holidays. She has generously opened her home for many times to host events for Sanctuary, to expand the awareness of our network, and to bring in her contacts to connect with us. For all of this and more, we are thrilled to honor Yana tonight. And please join me in congratulating her on receiving the 2023 Award of the Year Zero Tolerance Award. Come on up, come on up.
Thank you, Jamila, so much, and to Sanctuary for this kind honor. And of course, congratulations to the other honorees. I'm much more comfortable talking about the people in my life and Sanctuary rather than myself, so this is going to be all about thank yous. I'm going to try and keep it tight also. No Sanctuary conversation can't start without talking about Stephanie Ferdman. So thank you, Stephanie. You opened my eyes to the issue of gender violence and welcomed me into the Sanctuary family. Moving to my family, Josh, thank you for always putting up with me and always supporting me endlessly. Saying yes to that date 25 years ago was the best decision I ever made. To my 3 kids, I'm not going to name what tables you're at, but I do plan to thoroughly embarrass you at the after party with my dance moves. But on a serious note, continue to be these incredibly good people and always strive to do good like what's happening here tonight. And a huge shout out to my loving extended family here tonight. I love you so much. I'm really tempted to wish my sister-in-law a happy birthday, but I'm not going to, sort of. To my dear friends and APAC family, some of you have traveled from across the country to be here. We never hesitate to show up for each other in countless ways. Sometimes they're expensive, but okay. I am forever grateful and honored to work with you, celebrate with you, and learn from you. And a special thank you also to Molly Snyder, who extended herself to make tonight a real success and worked and partnered with me, so I really appreciate that. And finally, what this night is about, my Sanctuary family. You have changed the trajectory of countless lives across New York City. Most of us will never hear the stories of survival and even triumph because you're too humble to tell them and frankly too busy to help the next client in need. You've heard tonight about the work of Sanctuary's Legal Center and the shelters and the clinical program and the workforce training initiative, but that doesn't begin to give you the full picture. Sanctuary offers, and you may see, there we go. Sanctuary offers an entire unit dedicated to helping survivors of human trafficking, a housing program that can underwrite rent for up to 2 years while a survivor gets back on her feet, an initiative dedicated to helping Jewish Orthodox survivors who need what's called a get, a religious Jewish divorce, a team that works with survivors of female genital mutilation, national experts on how technology can be weaponized in the hands of an abuser and how a survivor can protect herself, staff who specialize in rescuing children who have been kidnapped overseas by an abusive spouse. That one always gets me when you read these stories in the paper. A team who work with incarcerated survivors whose only crime was trying to protect themselves. And even a summer camp for kids who have grown up in a violent home. These incredible programs don't happen on their own. The Sanctuary staff executes these services and more with passion, laser-focused dedication, and a comprehensive approach toward each special soul that reaches out for help. Thank you, Sanctuary for Families, for the work you do, for this honor, and for being a force for good in this world. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Yana, for your involvement with Sanctuary. Yes. It means so much for all that you've done for the Family Council and more. So our final honoree this evening is another remarkable woman, Alita Wingfield. A former Sanctuary board member, a mom of 4 kids, a devoted wife, and a managing director at Morgan Stanley. Alita somehow does it all. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Alita through our Sanctuary connection, and I was thrilled to find out that Alita will be rejoining the board as of July 1st. Welcome back to the Sanctuary family, Alita. Alita has inspired many others from Morgan Stanley to become engaged in Sanctuary's work, ranging from pro bono projects to financial support. She is a role model to so many at Morgan Stanley. She has mentored countless women and men who see her leadership as a source of motivation. Her leadership of Morgan Stanley's Black Employee Network and her involvement in the firm's DE&I initiatives expand the opportunities for so many individuals who need an advocate for them in their careers. As with the other two honorees, I hope you read Alita's bio in your program to find out more about what she does. Alita, I am so impressed by everything you are, and it is my honor to present you with the 2023 Zero Tolerance Award.
Beautiful room. From the moment Dorothy gets whisked away by a powerful tornado, she is on a mission to find her way home. For Dorothy, home is a safe place. On her journey, she is blessed to meet some strangers that will soon become traveling companions and friends, all with their own desires and wishes, but all searching for someone who can help. One wanting to go home, one wanting wisdom, one wanting to feel and give compassion, and one wanting courage. I love this story for so many reasons. At some point or another, many of us will face powerful storms, and we all will need a safe place to go. We all will meet people who are struggling, and even in the midst of our own search for home, we will stop, we will listen, and we may even join them on their journey. And we all have needed a helping hand. When I think about Sanctuary for Families and all that it has done and continues to do to provide a shelter from a storm, I couldn't be prouder and more humbled to be honored today. The wisdom and compassion embedded in providing a holistic approach has changed the lives of many, including the lives you've heard from today on the screen and here in person. But most of all, I think of courage, the courage needed to reach for help in the middle of a storm and to realize the power to seek it and to find it was within you the entire time. I have been blessed to be able to give back for my entire career. Not only is it a core value at Morgan Stanley, where I've spent the last 18 years, it is a core value at all of the law firms that I've worked at as an associate. I want to give a heartfelt thank you to all my colleagues at Morgan Stanley for supporting good work in our communities and to helping me, thank you, and for helping me to support Sanctuary over the last decade. I want to give a heartfelt thank you to my family, my sons, Isaiah and Anthony, my daughters, Imani and Layla, and a special thank you to my favorite guy, my partner in crime, my best friend, my husband Eddie, who I met when I was 18 years old. Thank you, family, for understanding the importance of making an impact outside the home. Sometimes it means early mornings and late nights when I'm not at home, but you have not thought it robbery for me to do the work. And to all of you here tonight, know that there will be storms. Know that others are having their storms or wildfires. Be a helping hand. Have the courage to seek the help you need. And know, always know, that you have the power within. I was blessed to get to know Sanctuary over 10 years ago, and I'm seeing my old friend Dorchin here. When Morgan Stanley and Simpson Thatcher, I'm sure, is in the house tonight. Shout out to Harleen Katzman if she's here. We partnered together to fund an Equal Justice Fellow who desperately, desperately wanted to work for Sanctuary. And through her, I fell in love with its mission and its undeniable impact. One of my favorite songs from one of my favorite Broadway shows, Wicked, For Good. It's an anthem of forgiveness and also of gratitude for the ways other people can influence us and change our lives. I'd like to close by reciting some of the lyrics. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. Who can say if I've changed for the better? But because of you, Sanctuary, because of you, I have been changed for good. Congratulations to the other amazing honorees. I feel such gratitude tonight for everyone at Sanctuary who thought me worthy of this honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage Seth Meyers.
One more time for our honorees, everybody. And let me just say, as someone who does this professionally, we have had some exceptional public speakers tonight. I mean, just exceptional. Also, there's no easy way to say this. In retaliation from the air pollution of the Canadian forest fires, Mayor Adams has just announced he's set up giant fans in Washington Square Park that are going to blow the weed smoke to Toronto. I just hope this escalation stops at some point. Congratulations to Alita, Jennifer, and Yana. You guys, it's time to eat. It's also, hey, I also want to say one more thing. I do a lot of these. Lydia Finette, your auctioneer, she's the best in the business. A round of applause for Lydia. You've been to a lot of these. You know the difference. Hey, last thing I'll say, because also check your silent auction bids. One of the silent auction bids is tickets to see my show. As I've established, we're currently on strike. I don't currently have a show. But I am doing shows at the Beacon Theater in August with John Oliver. And so I'll just say this right now. If you win the auction item for my show and would rather come to a sure thing at the Beacon, you can exchange your winning bid for that. And I will also add, I will double that package. So bid on that silent auction, me and John Oliver at the Beacon, August 17th and 18th. And you guys, enjoy your meal. See you in a little bit.